What's going on, guys? You're chilling with Transobza, and today I have got a Pokenalysis for you. Now, some of you who have been with my channel for a long time may remember this is my version of an analysis video, but I wanted a catchy title, so Pokenalysis. Now, getting straight to it. Today's Pokenalysis is going to be on Munchlax. Munchlax is one of my favorite Pokemon for personal reasons. Well, yeah, I guess I could say. I'm a total fat ass, and Munchlax is also fat, so I always identified with Snorlax when I was a kid, and Munchlax was the kid form of that, and since I was a kid at the time, you know, I just liked Munchlax. Munchlax doesn't have a lot going for it in terms of weaknesses and resistances. I mean, sure, it has one weakness, which is good, but that weakness is one of the most common types in the tier. However, it does have some nice pseudo-resistances with Ice and Fire. Some of you may be wondering what pseudo means. I think that the best way to describe it is a Pokemon with a weakness, resistance, or immunity that it doesn't naturally have. Such as Pokemon with Levitate aren't naturally immune to ground types, however they still get that immunity thanks to their Levitate ability. Or maybe Pokemon with Dry Skin who wouldn't normally be weak to fire types suddenly becoming weak to fire types thanks to that ability. But moving on to the abilities, you've got Pickup, Thick Fat, and Gluttony, and I bet you guys can guess which one is the most commonly used. Just a hint, it's Thick Fat. And that's what gives Munchlax its pseudo-resistances to Ice and Fire. Now, looking at Munchlax's stats, you can clearly see that it has a lot of freaking HP, and I mean a lot. It's one of the highest base HP Pokemon in Little Cup. And not to mention, but it's also got a fantastic special defense stat, a good attack stat, and an okay defense stat, making this pretty much an all-around defensive Pokemon. The most common set that's used is a Violite Thick Fat set with an Adamant Nature. Now, the EV spread is meant to maximize special defense and attack, which isn't a bad way to go if you're going for full specially defensive. With the moveset of Body Slam or Return, either one works, Earthquake, Fire Punch, or Pursuit. Usually people run Fire Punch, but Pursuit is also an acceptable alternative. And finally, Whirlwind for phasing. However, I find that this set, while good, it's great for beginners, but if you want to branch out a little bit, I find that this set is not quite as good as this next set. This next set is a custom set of my own design, pretty much the same thing except the EV spreads are distributed differently, with 196 attack, 116 defense, and 236 special defense. Now the thing here is, before you would get 19 attack and 18 special defense, which is really good, but here you're going to be getting 18 attack and 18 special defense. However, you'll also get 12 defense instead of 11, which is a good number for a Violite, considering it boosts the defense by 1.5. And as far as moves go, it's pretty much the same. And the next custom set is, thanks to Recycle and Berry Juice now being legalized, is now usable. So as you can see, items Berry Juice, ability Thick Fat, you can go with a Careful or Impish Nature. Either one should work depending on what you want. You want more special defense or regular defense? The first move it has is Toxic, and second is Recycle. So Toxic Recycle is going to be very annoying for this set, as well as a Stab, Body Slam, or Return. I would personally recommend Return, but Body Slam should work just fine. Now for the fourth move, you've got Stockpile, Curse, or Fire Punch. Fire Punch is for more coverage if you feel you need it. Stockpile and Curse are to up your defenses. Stockpile for regular defense and special defense, or if you're going to go with the Careful nature above, I would recommend running Curse. So that way you can boost your attack and defense without having to lower your special defense to boost your regular defense. And the final custom set I have for you guys today, which isn't really, I can't take all the credit for it because this set was pretty popular back in 4th gen, I believe, is a Rest Talk Curse set with a Violite Thick Fat and Impish Nature because you're going to need that extra defense on this set with the moves Rest, Curse, Sleep Talk, and Return or Body Slam. I would recommend Body Slam on this set, however if you want more damage you can go with Return. Now the deal with this set is it needs to have longevity. And when I say that, I mean it needs that Impish ability to boost its defenses, so that way Curse can take care of the rest. You don't need to worry about attack stat, because Curse will also boost that, but you need to make sure you have enough defenses to be able to get off a rest, and then maybe Sleep Talk some more curses in. Now sometimes I may have gimmick sets to show you, and this is where they would go in the video, but I don't have any gimmick sets this time considering Munchlax doesn't really have any gimmick sets. Sure, you can try and run Power Up Punch or something, or maybe something with Gluttony, but Munchlax doesn't have enough speed to try and get sweeping potential with Gluttony, so there's really no point in trying to run it anyway. It's not even a gimmick set, it's just kind of a bad set. And Power Up Punch I would just consider to be an alternative coverage move, just getting off a little bit extra damage, as well as boosting your attack, so I don't really consider that any kind of gimmick. But yeah, since Munchlax doesn't really have any gimmick sets, we're going to move right on to teammates and checks and counters. So checks and counters first. Things that check Munchlax are pretty much any fighting type. You'll see that I have Timber up there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be Timber. It could be Timber, Mienfoo, Mankey. Anything that's a fighting type physical attacker can pretty much almost one-shot Munchlax. But you also need to worry about Pokemon that aren't fighting type but have access to powerful fighting type moves, such as Teddiursa with Close Combat. Another thing that counters Munchlax pretty well, if you're not running the Pursuit, is a ghost type such as Mischievous. Ghost types such as Mischievous, or basically ghost types in general that have access to Will-O-Wisp, can come in and Will-O-Wisp Munchlax before it can do any significant damage, or even try and get a hit off on it considering it's so slow. And finally, just about any Steel type can effectively check Munchlax if you're not careful. Now, if you're running the Fire Punch or Earthquake sets, you don't need to worry about that. You're fine. But if you're running one of the other two custom sets, then yeah, you're going to need to watch out for that a bit. Now, teammates, I mentioned that fighting types were a big check, and that ghost types with Will-O-Wisp were also a big check. However, they also make great teammates considering they can come in on the fighting type attacks and Will-O-Wisp themselves. And for ghost types who try and use Will-O-Wisp, you can actually come in with a Pokemon such as Houndour to get the Flash Fire boost, pretty much being immune to Will-O-Wisp, and get off a Pursuit. This also works with other Pursuit trappers such as Stunky, however, you run the risk of getting burned, which is not great. Other pretty good teammates would include Pokemon such as Grimer or Trubbish, which have Sticky Hold, which will prevent Pokemon such as Mienfoo or maybe even Pawniard from coming in and trying to use Knockoff, or from Mienfoo just going in and using Drain Punch flat out, considering it resists the hit and Sticky Hold will prevent the loss of its item. And finally, while it doesn't exactly benefit Munchlax, offensive grass types that can't take too many hits, such as Deerling, can actually switch into Munchlax when they're being threatened out by an ice or fire type move. So I hope you guys all enjoyed the first episode of the return of Pokenalysis. If you guys want me to analyze any other Little Cup Pokemon in this tier, be sure to leave them down in the comments below, and I'll be sure to pick one from the list. But if I don't see any that I like, screw it, I'll do one myself. But that's it for me. I hope you guys have all enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.